Hello and welcome to the Build with Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit and to hang out with all of you. I'm going to go ahead and throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe, and the Tier 2 blue emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can just say hi or use other people's emotes. Or if you wanted to be a lurker, you could do that and that would be okay. Arctic Sloth is here. Ghost Valve is here. Welcome to both of you. Hello, hello, hello. We are currently at 39 out of 40 subscribers. I stopped putting the one down here that it's hard for me to point at. So now we're at 39 out of 40 subscribers. The goal is to hit 40. That's always our goal. Lastbrook just subscribed with Prime. That's 62 months on a 62-month streak. We're at 40. Never mind that spiel. Also, let's throw the Bear Cave Lego Scythe emote in the chat because Lashbrook has renewed and now I can use the emotes. Yes. Now, Lashbrook, you can use the emotes. Also, keep those emotes coming. Lord Crashington just subscribed at Tier 1. So we want to throw those emotes in for Lord Crashington as well. Saying, hey, Pat, hope things are going well and keep up the great work. Thank you so much for your 42 months. Really appreciate that to you, Lord Crashington. And again, we are at, we're back now here at 40 because of the renewal. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much to both of you for renewing your subscription. Thank you for everybody for being here. Appreciate it very much to y'all. I hope a few more friends decide to join us tonight. If not, that's okay. It happens. Tonight's agenda. What's the plan? Well, we got this big master grade, the Heavyarms Igel unit. Hey, welcome. Hello. And we've mostly been doing the parts of the kit from 2011, which when the kit came out originally. We're about to, after a little bit more work, we're getting close to getting to the point where we will be working on new material. We'll start working on the bonus shoulder mounted, or shoulder rocket launchers that are on there. Missile launchers, rocket launchers, you get what I'm saying. We're going to start working on new kit for this, which will be great. Hey, Aristofan just gifted a Tier 1 to Lysandus. That's the 111th gift sub on the stream. That's ridiculous. Let's throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, and the Scythe emote in the chat. We also have started a hype train. Hype train. Throw some emotes in the chat. Aristofan, thank you for the 111 gift subs over the time that you have been here. That's ridiculous. And we're now at 41 subscribers. We don't track up above 40 to y'all, but I do, obviously. And that's great. That's very good. We like that. We like seeing that. Thank you very much for your continued support. Everybody, we are now at a hype train here, which is fun. If you want to throw some bits into the pot, you want to gift a sub, you want to become a subscriber, you could do that. You don't have to do any of that stuff. But also, of course, Lysandus did gift a sub earlier in the month, which is very kind. So now we've got 2 people on our gift sub leaderboard, which is great. So yeah, we're gonna talk about some wrestling stuff, the good and the bad and the funny. We'll talk a little bit about. I'm gonna go to the GDC webpage or the YouTube channel, because I want to recommend a few things that I've watched and enjoyed, but I got to go and look at that, so I'm going to have to do that now. I'm going to get that set up. I forgot to get that set up before we started. I had a bit of a busy day. I had stuff going on, which was good. Good things were happening, so I was happy about that. But yeah, it was a little bit busy. I have managed to see some things from this GDQ. But not as much as I would like. Where are we going? Where am I going here? Come on, game's done quick. Also, less uploads from GDQ this year to YouTube. Usually they're faster and more consistent. They have not as been this time around. I don't know if that's a product of it being local or not local, it being like home, so people are just their archives are trouble. But I don't know. Aristofan says last night they did a Pac-Man 2 speed run. That's Pac-Man 2, Shaky Fist. But also that's fun. But we'll talk about that. Some wrestling's up. What's up with that? We'll talk about this weekend and It's not. We're not at shenanigans level, but I got like annoying things to do this weekend. Saturday stream will be out of the office here in the house. The third, or sorry, the third most streamed place that in this house, because the most is here, and then the month or the 6 weeks that I'm in the Carolina room, and then the office, and then the kitchen. The office, I'm in there because we'll start. There's nothing really to say here other than I'm going to retweet my tweet and let's get building while I talk about this. I'm going to be in the office because I need to clear out as much stuff as possible from this bedroom because we'll go to the overhead here. Great. Let's get building. I just that a little bit. Great. I need to do what I can here in the office because we're borrowing a carpet cleaner, and my dad and I are going to clean the carpet here in this room and in the parents' bedroom. All right, so I need XA23 is 22, 23. Got it. So yes, we've got a carpet cleaner coming, and I want to give it as much time to clean as possible. Also, I have to move my computer out anyway, so instead of moving it back in when the carpet might be still damp, I'm just going to set up in the office tomorrow. And I'm also going to use this opportunity, since I'm moving my computer, I am going to put an old hard drive from my previous computer into this one to use as a data backup. Because I have a hard drive that I have not been using for anything, and it's just sitting there. And so I'm going to put that in the new computer. And I'll take this as an opportunity to do that since I'm already moving the computer anyway. I'll do that before while I'm setting everything up. Because I thought that would make my life easier. But yeah, we're cleaning the carpets. I'm excited to have that. But it does mean that Saturday's stream will be from the office, which should not affect anything. Because I'll bring my Wi-Fi booster in there. The streams I have done in there have been fine. It should be okay. The only trouble I've ever ran into there is I ran into... Oh, sorry. Actually, nobody mentioned it, and I didn't notice it. I have the sub thing there. We don't need those there. Sorry about that. What was I? I was saying a bunch of different things. Oh, yeah. I ran into trouble in there because... the couch pulls out to a bed, and when we had relatives in town, they used this room to sleep in, and I had to sleep in that office. And so that meant I had to set up my computer and everything. I need E2. Great. I had to set up my computer and all that, and also allow room for the bed to open up out of the couch. I don't have to do this time because I'm not going to sleep in there, because by the time... I go to bed, it will be dry enough in here, and it will not be an issue. Oops, I did put the... You'd think I would know how to put this together, because I have built a Master Grade Heavyarms several times, and I have built the High Grade several times. So you'd think I would be old hat at this particular kit. But you'd be wrong. I could still make mistakes, like the best of them. Or the worst of them, whatever you want to call it. So anyway, yeah. Happy that we'll get some work done in the house here. And this is the thing that I've been wanting to do for a while, and it has finally worked out both timing-wise to just make this happen before my folks go out of town for a while. Why is this being weird? Oh, it should go like that. Yay! Okay, I got it. As a reminder, friends, my folks go to Florida. They're not leaving yet, but they will be leaving towards the end of this month. And I will move my entire streaming operation out to the Carolina room, an open room. It should be fine. I've never had an issue in there before. It's nice because I have more space. And the real thing that I look forward to the most with that is I don't have my work in the same room as the bed that I sleep in, because I spend a majority of my day in this room, and instead I will go and, do customer service, do data entry stuff, do whatever internet odd jobs I've got lined up. I will go and do those jobs, and then I will stop doing those jobs, and streaming, of course, my streams. And then I will, at the end of the day, come into this room and watch some stuff on the TV because I got the Chromecast. And then I will go to bed in this room, and it won't have a computer. Now, I'm debating this, I might set up my laptop on this desk because I have my table, because I have the smaller table in here, and I have the larger one that I don't use that often. I might set up that, because that would be convenient for me. It would be nice to have a table in here so I could like set my laptop up, and so I could like at the end of the day, if I just wanted to like catch up on something on the laptop, watch something at the end of the night, and don't want to have it on the Chromecast through YouTube, I gotta like, you know, do something else, I can have it on a laptop and send it to that or whatever. I might do that. I don't use my laptop that often, so it is nice to get some use out of it. So I might do that. I haven't 100% decided, but that's an option that I have. I'm going to leave this table set up and just use the long table that I used to use all the time for streams, but then stopped because that table was so long that it didn't make sense to have it in here. It just wasn't. It was too big for the space. And then someone bought this square table off my Amazon wish list, which was very kind of them, and I have gotten a whole lot of use out of it. All right, we are almost done with the normal shoulder here, and then we'll work on the arm, and then we will add in all the new parts. I'm kind of doing this as I go here, just getting this all looking good. Get that, snap that in. We'll give this a clean, or not clean, a little bit of panel lining here as we go. The only, you know, some of the only red on this kit. Okay. Let's talk wrestling, friends. We got to talk wrestling. We're going to talk about the good and the bad and the funny, as I mentioned. Let's start with the good. Friend of streamers everywhere, and by all accounts, excellent individual, Adam Cole, baby, made his triumphant return to AEW. He has been out after a concussion suffered in the ring, which was very obvious and evident that he had definitely been knocked out and was in a bad way. He has been off and apparently was having issues. They weren't sure if he was going to ever recover, if he was ever going to wrestle again. But he is back, supposedly cleared. He did not wrestle. He just cut an impassioned promo, but is on the road to recovery and looks to be returning to action. Lashbrook says, I haven't watched yet. I went and saw Shin Ultraman instead and regret it. So I will say, without knowing if the movie was good or not, I can't tell you about that part. I can just tell you about, do I think that this was a good episode of Dynamite? It was a pretty okay episode of Dynamite. There was some stuff in it that was not good. I did not particularly enjoy MJF just being casually racist to Takeshita. That was weird and unnecessary, and the promo was really long. Adam Cole being back rules. The Elite winning the best of 7 and being the first ever 2-time trios champions is, and also the first and now 3rd time champions there. Is interesting. It's fine. It was a good match. Was it the best of the 7? No. Yeah, Lashbrook, it really felt like the whole night felt like something happened. Obviously, there was, yesterday, the FAA grounded every flight for like 3 hours, and everything was kind of a mess. So it really does feel like a segment or some people couldn't make it, because it did feel like there were 2 instances where Excalibur was like, and we're going to cut to commercial, and then they didn't. And the second time, he was like, well, I guess we're not cutting to commercial. And like, that doesn't happen. He doesn't do that. That doesn't happen to him. So the fact that it happened twice in one night was kind of astonishing. There was a lot of like, oh, this feels weird and long, and there was a point where like he was talking and then Eddie Kingston's pre-taped promos started playing, and it was like, that's weird. It was off. Arctic Sloth says, honestly forgot about the MJF stuff because that match was awesome. Yes, Takeshita versus Daniel Bryan, or Bryan Danielson, as it say. Sorry, Bryan Danielson, was excellent. It was totally great. Totally worth checking out. The matches were solid. The opener was a banger. The closer was good. The tag match, unfortunately, the women's tag match that all this buildup was happening. That's the funny thing. Because, look, let's talk about the timeline of events, right? They're promoting the LA show. And Britt Baker says, I've got 2 tickets for that show for you. And you can come see the show. Got 2 tickets for you. And Britt is like, well, actually, I'm cleared for that show. Why don't you see me in the ring? And they're like, great, bring whoever you want. And it's like, I'll bring somebody, and we don't know who it is, right? So people start speculating. It's LA. It's going to be big. This is going to be a debut, right? It's going to be a debut. And there's some drops of like, well, I've got friends out there. Well, it could be anyone. I'm looking at all these different people. And then they don't talk about it for a while. And then, in the course of conversation, I'm not talking about anything outside, like people speculating, Twitter stuff, wrestling journalists talking about it. I'm not going to talk about any of that stuff at the moment. I'm just going to tell you about what happened on screen. So, no conversation about it for quite some time. Then, conversation about it. Okay, we're getting back into it. Britt Baker, in cutting a promo, says, she's the champ and I'm the boss. This is a pre-taped interview. She says, I'm the boss. Which, the boss was Sasha Banks' nickname, moniker, if you will. Who is, we'll talk about that later. So she uses somebody's catchphrase. Interesting. Weird to do. Weird choice, but okay. Then, Saraya says, okay, I am ready to announce who my tag team partner is. And she's sitting there with 2 people. She's sitting there with Shida and Toni Storm. And then she says, it's Toni Storm. Toni, I just feel like we've had such a great chemistry and we're working so well together. You feel that, right? And I know how much you don't like Jamie and, this will be great. And Shida is like, what the fuck? Why would you pick someone who's not me? She didn't say that, but she's clearly pissed off about it. And then everyone at home is like, wait, what? The mystery partner is Toni Storm? Former AEW champion and the person around all the time, Toni Storm? And so then people start speculating, well, it's got to be something more than that, right? Well, the answer is no. It wasn't anything more than that. It was a tag team of that. And Shida came out, and then she tried to interfere on behalf of, we think, but then it was like a bad help. Like it wasn't helpful what she did, and she cost them the match. And then she's like, oh no, what did I do? And it's like, well, we know what you did. Okay, so we want this part here. It's weird. It's nonsense. Now, let's go back. As soon as it was a mystery opponent, the internet was like, oh, that's definitely Sasha Banks. Mercedes Moné, as she is now, or Mercedes Moné, as she is now referred to as. It's going to be Mercedes. And I joked a while back going, yeah, it's going to be Mercedes Martinez and everyone's going to get real mad. No, it wasn't. It was just people in there. I also thought maybe it would be like Kairi Sane or Kairi, former WWE person who Saraya managed when she was in WWE. Maybe she's in New Japan and Stardom. She's going to be wrestling in America. Maybe it'll be her. That would be fucking cool and feel like a big deal. No, it was just in talent. Because everyone was like, oh, well, New Japan had her debut, and maybe New Japan has her first match, and nobody knows. So there's a couple of things to glean from this. The first one is, if they never had Mercedes booked, they should not have had Britt Baker say, "I'm the boss." Because that felt like dropping a hint. In this case, it wasn't. It was a red herring, or it was a bad mistake. I said, pre-taped interview, they could have edited it. They didn't edit it. They just fucking left it in. That feels like a big mistake and a big miscalculation. My belief is, back when they were like, and we'll have a, bring whoever you want, and, we don't know who it's going to be. In my head, they had a verbal agreement because they couldn't actually negotiate because she was still under WWE contract with Mercedes. And then something happened along the way. New Japan wants to have her first match. New Japan wants her first American thing to be the show she has in February. Whatever it was. There's something happened and things fell through. And their pivot was to have it be Toni Storm and, we'll have the Shida thing. Some people did think, well, maybe that'll be the match, but like Shida will come out with a heel and it'll be Mercedes. And it didn't happen. So the thing that sucks the most is that the women's division has had some good matches. It's had some good storylines. Even though Jamie's around, the Britt Saraya thing doesn't involve the titles at all, or either title, any of the three women's titles that are around. It's just a person not liking someone. It's two people not liking each other and really not liking each other and fighting. And that rules. That is really cool. We like that around here. Okay, so why is this not sliding? This needs to slide in here. And it isn't. It's not sliding the other way, which it shouldn't. Shouldn't want to slide that way. This should slide on here and meet this at the end. And it's not, and I don't know why. That's not working. I can try to force it, but that doesn't seem smart. So then I have to ask myself, why? Why is this not working? Is it too tight? Is it not tight enough here? Can I tighten this piece up? And will that work? Ironhide the Fourth is here with a joke, as is tradition. Here's a pro tip for you. If you get locked out of your house, talk to the lock. Communication is key. Ba-dump-cha. Ba-dump-cha. All right, so this is the right bend. So that looks right. It should be lined up here because this is the arm. So this should just slide and lock right in. And it's not, and I don't know why. So we get to do the fun thing of think of all the reasons why this isn't working. Again, I slide it in there. That looks right. So now we'll go and we will back up and we will see how this connects. That looks like that looks right. That looks right. This looks right. These all seem to bend properly. I don't know why this isn't working. So anyway, it was a real sour. It was a bummer. Here we go. It worked. Great. Ironhide the Fourth, it was just one of those things where like everything was working properly. It was just that this is a thing that happens in model kits, especially I would say in the 2000s. But this is, of course, 2011 kit reissued with some new parts in 2019. But occasionally, with a kit, the solution to your problem is to push harder than you would like to. And that's bad. I always find that frustrating and a little troubling when the solution is to just press harder because it's just plastic. This is not, this is a premium Bandai kit. This is the Igel unit for the Heavyarms. So it is a 2011 Heavyarms Master grade with the bonus added parts that came in 2019 that I recently acquired and we just started working on Monday. So we have the chest and the head done on the shoulders. We have not worked on any new parts yet. The new parts are coming. We're still working on the old parts, quote unquote. But eventually we will be adding in the new parts. Anyway, let's see. I did Ironhide. Yes, we were talking about Witch from Mercury, as now is concluded. We did a bit of a spoiler chat on Monday and talk through it. It is very good. Does it have the death count of some other Gundam series? No, but the deaths do feel meaningful. Do I think that spending so many episodes kind of pushing aside the relationship angle to then develop it more right before the dramatic and traumatic events happened is a bit of a bastard move on the part of the writers? Yes, I do think that. I do think, oh, now you're all going to start delving into this. Is this, uh, you know, fiance thing that you won in a duel actually like real and happening? Oh, cool. That's episode 11, huh? Cool. Yeah, a little I believe to be a frustrating element. But I do think that Witcher Mercury fucking stuck the landing for the first segment. You know, I think it had really strong moments, good characterization. They managed to make me care about a character that felt like a character in the show who felt like he was there just for like to be the not villain of the piece. And then turns out Ghoul, a character I've come to really appreciate and enjoy. I enjoy that guy. Did not think I would when he was introduced. I was like, oh, cool. This is the first person to get fucked up. Great. You always need that first. The protagonist always needs the not antagonist, but the person that believes they are the main character of their story of the story. You always need that. I don't really feel like they ever sidelined the romance. Yeah, to me, Lashbrook, they look, a lot of stuff was happening, right? But it did feel like they got to 11 and they were like, oh, well, 12 is going to be. So that's the thing, right? Our main characters have a relationship that is, as far as episode 11 is concerned, leading towards legitimately actually romance. Like, they have a good connection and they are building to something, and in 11 they are finally honest with each other and talking things through and progressing as a couple, as an item, as more than just to a character like Suletta, who is not sure if she actually has any friends or not, because everything is new to her. So the idea that this like self-doubt hits her. Is this relationship something? Is like whatever. It's like the girl that I think I have something with isn't around, and like I have doubts, and this thing of like, oh, if you have doubts, you need to talk to me about it. And we get these hints of like, okay, there's going to be something here. And episode 11 happens, which is good that those moments happen. And it's good that we see those, but they feel like they are in the service of, well, we should have this because things are going to get really fucked up soon. So it'll be good to have this scene in the story. That's what it feels like to me. Yeah, well, Lashbrook, was that her girlfriend or her fiance or Earth House or trying to, it's one of those things where like it's not cut and dry, and that's good. Stories shouldn't be cut and dry, right? But I don't necessarily take all of her motivations as this is me protecting my fiance. It didn't always feel like that to me. It did feel sometimes like there was more going on than just that. Well, yeah, I mean, like, that's what. Yes, things are going to get messy. Here's the thing, right? Mjolnir has one of the most earned, honest responses in a Gundam series that I've seen in quite some time. Her response to what just happened in front of her feels very earned and very honest. And it will be interesting to see where that takes the two of them. And where they go from there. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I didn't feel like they abandoned it, but it did feel like the relationship aspect between these two characters hit the back burner during the show, so they could focus on a lot of storytelling of other events that they were more interested in telling, and then eventually got back to the part where, oh yeah, these characters are something's going on. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with all those things. Like, they still got to get treatment for her dad, and they've got to like figure out what's going on. And then there's like hell to pay for a bunch of different things. And then who knows who will use this situation to paint Ariel in a bad light and Gundam in a bad light. Who knows what will happen or what might happen in the next installment of Witch from Mercury. But it's still really fucking good. My criticism of how the relationship element felt like it took a back seat until they needed things to get dramatic is not like a dismissal of the show. It is merely me just like talking about an element that I did not fully appreciate. It's not a dismissal, it's just a criticism. Because the show overall is very good, and looks cool. And while I do think that, it's a prologue, but I do feel that like Lif is like a little too busy of a mobile suit, and occasionally they do tend to be like maybe like a little too much is going on in some of the Gundam. Overall, I still think it is. They're still fucking cool as hell. All right, we have finished the arm, and now it is time to move from this booklet to the new booklet. Oh, it's time to build these shoulder-mounted things. We got to build the shoulder-mount thing, and then we put it on the arm. Yeah, they'll go into that and go into that. Yes. We're going to build two of these here. We're going to build them at the same time. We'll put on one, and then we'll put the other on the other once we finish that arm. Should we do both? I want to do one of these. I think we could do the left arm first and then do this at the same time. But I want to do one because I think it would be neat to get a new piece put together. Well, like, to me, Ironhide, like, there is a discrepancy in time. There are unanswered questions. I don't necessarily need those questions answered like in the first episode. It would be great if we could actually get to those answers and actually have them. I definitely agree with you. So I need WA. Those questions do need to get answered, but I'm not like, well, they better tell us, like right now, like as soon as possible, what's going on with it. Like, I'm like, I think they'll get to it. I'd like them to get to it. Yeah, there are some questions that need to be answered but also I think those questions are a part of a bigger place of, is Suletta's characterization that she has, is that just part of the character, or is it part of something bigger? Is there a in-universe explanation about how her personality that is based on more than just who she is? But also, like, it's an original story, and the nice thing is that I don't, like, people can just have their fan theories, and I don't particularly need to care about people's fan theories. Like, oh, okay, it's like, sure, people can think about that stuff if they want. Like, they have all their thoughts about who she is and who that is and who this thing is, and they're like, well, if it's in there, it needs to mean something. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, it theoretically should mean something, but I don't know if it has to mean something or has to mean what you're thinking of, and like all that stuff. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see, what pans out. People like to theorize as they go. I certainly do sometimes in original stories. I'm like, so where does this go, and who is this, and how does that get there, and is this the red herring, or is that a red herring, or is that just dropped because they were like thinking that was going to be an important story element, but now that they're actually getting farther along in the story. They decided it's not, and, you know, that kind of stuff. All right, so this has got to go like this. Yeah. So these are the new parts. I have no experience putting together these, so this is a learning experience for me because this is new to me. This is the additions in 2019 for a kit that I have built before. So this is all like strange new stuff. So my apologies if I'm a little slow on this part. I'm going to build both at the same time because why not? Lord Crashington says, Pat, it all has to wrap up or it's the worst anime ever. Yeah, I mean, look, also, if they have like some stuff that is like open to interpretation, like I'm never opposed to open to interpretation. I don't like sloppy. I certainly don't like sloppy writing. But I don't mind a few mysteries here and there, or a few like, what do you think it was? Like, I don't mind that now and again. I think that's fine. That is one of the fun things about, well, like, you say the only thing that could solve it, like, the thing is, like, it's a story that people are writing, right? So, like, there are other solutions you haven't thought about, right? They might not be solutions that you think are good, but, like, there is probably a explanation, and they may or may not choose to give it to you. I do think that, like, we as a larger fandom community for things, there are people that want to know, and they actually, like, it's frustrating, right? Because we went for everything has to have a reason, and you need to tell me what those reasons are. As a collective, we're still a little bit in that, unfortunately. But now we're like, you know, they didn't explain. They fucked up by not explaining it. It's now become a fuck up. In the old days, it was, in the very old days, it was just like, oh, let's pick this apart and try to think about what it could mean. And then it was like the Lost era was interesting because that was, this isn't what I thought it was, and therefore it's bad. And, oh, they're just making up stuff as they go along. Well, yes, yes. Yes, they are. And now we're at a point where, can you believe they fucked up because this, and this didn't get explained? Like, they're really shitting the bed. And it's just like, okay, all right, sure. Like, again, if it's not satisfactory, you know, if you don't appreciate it, if you don't find it like a good answer to what you're, like, you know, trying to deal with there, like, that's one thing. And I think, like, fine, I understand that. If you're like, oh, that's not the solution I was looking for, like, that's totally fine. But when people are just like, oh, they didn't even get to a reasonable explanation of this thing, like, because I have seen the take that Witcher Mercury is bad because in 12 episodes they didn't answer a question. And it's just like, oh, that's not, no. I mean, that could be frustrating, but, like, if you're like, oh yeah, I'm not interested in that because, like, oh, I'm not gonna stick around and wait for an explanation. It's just like, okay. It's like, all right. Now, having said that, there has been a time in my life where I was like, I mean, Ironhide, do you want it to be, like, I mean, you're only salty about the fact that the first season is 12 episodes only. Like, they had to take weeks off to get it to be 12 episodes. Like, yes, some of the delay was due to the time of year and not on them, but there was also a week where they didn't have an episode so they could get caught up. And, like, I'd much rather have 12 episodes that I think, like, I don't think that quality of any of those episodes was bad. I'd much rather have that than, oof, they did 20 episodes in that first run, and that was rough, you know? Like, I think the quality held up pretty remarkably. I often wish some shows would take time off because they don't, and they suffer for it. So I don't know. But no, there has been times in my life where I saw something that I was like, well, I'm never going to finish this show, but I would like to know why certain things are happening. And I went to look it up. I'm frustrated because I'm Standing on a Million Lives is the name of an anime that I don't think is good. But I want to know what the fuck is going on with that, because there's a big mystery involved in like why this is happening to them. What's up about the visions of the future? Is that, you know, like this guy who's supposed to be the same, like the big question to me is just like, is this dude actually, like, did he himself travel back in time to fix his own issues and force himself to be a hero? I don't know. But I was like, I'm never going to I'm not going to watch more of this anime. Let me go and look on the wiki. And at the time I last looked, the manga has not finished, and so those answers are not present. Now, that might have happened since the last time I looked. But that to me wasn't like, oh, I need to know now or I can't keep watching this show. That was, well, I'm not going to keep watching this show. I would just like to know what was going on there, that one thing. And it's not like haunting me. Like I said, the last time I looked, they hadn't gotten to the point where there were answers to the questions. So now I'm like, I wonder if now there's been. And I haven't really thought about it since. The last time I thought about it was when season 2 came out. And I was like, oh, yeah, that show. And then also when I see that, like, new chapters of the manga have come out, I'm like, oh yeah, that thing. Yeah, I think I'm good. It's an interesting premise. I mean, there was something kind of interesting about a main character who is supposed to be a hero in the future, who is only focused on his own survival and is a complete and utter asshole. There's something about that that's interesting, but also I fully believe in my heart of hearts that I am kind of done with irrepentant asshole storylines. Like, I'm like, main characters at least. I'm like, I don't know if I really want that. I think I might be, that I might have, I don't want to say aged out, but I might be like past giving a shit about those kinds of characters as main characters. I don't know. I think my edgelordiness has like lessened quite a bit over the years. But I don't know. I don't want to talk about Witcher Mercury anymore. I was happy to talk about it. I enjoyed that series, and it was solid. I'll have a little bit more to say about that next week in different formats outside of streaming. I'll have stuff to say about it. Because I'll do a little bit of promo here, a little promotional work. On Monday, which is January 16th, there will be another episode of Pat Baer's Anime Club, which is my ongoing video series, and it will be Pat Baer's, I said Pat Baer there, that's not my name, Pat Baer's top 10 list of 2022. That's right. January 16th, I will be doing my top 10 list. It will be on cohost.org/Pat Baer. That is my blogging platform of choice. So you'll be able to read it if you're interested in doing a read. Or if you would like to watch a video of it, it will be on my YouTube, and you'll be able to see that there. So I will be doing that video. I recorded that today, so I did talk a lot about anime. It's a 30-minute video because I had a lot to talk about 10 shows that I really loved in 2022. I did give a brief, kind of shout out to a few shows that didn't make the cut because there's only so many shows that can make the cut. So I did try to talk about a few things that I thought were solid out there, or at least try to explain hey, you might think this was one of the 10 best shows, but it didn't make my list, and here's a little bit why. Tried to do that. Tried to be... At the end of the day, it's just my opinion about the shows that I watched and enjoyed. So, nothing... no skin off my nose if you were like, no, didn't really do it for me. Totally understand that. But yeah. Pat Baer's the evil clone of Pat Baer. Oh no, I don't need not another one. But yeah, so that's coming out on Monday. I was happy to make that. I've got to work on a few other things. Ironhide the Fourth. Demisexual is a sexual orientation that is on the it is in the larger umbrella of asexuality, but it is a type of asexuality. Folks, we'll kind of get into that there. Briefly, asexual folks, or aromantic folks, stuff like that, basically can certainly have human connection, interpersonal human relationships without having sexual desire. Demisexuals are a variation of that, in that folks like myself traditionally don't feel sexual desire for other people, unless, with the caveat, in some instances, in a platonic relationship with someone, they can develop specific sexual feelings for specific individuals. And gender doesn't play into that. So there are demisexuals who have only found partners for themselves that are the same sex or opposing sex, or gender fluid folks, or folks that don't fit in the binary at all. So basically, it is something that like is as a like designation fairly new. Not a lot of demisexual folks out there. I'm sure there are plenty of people who it really is just a category for folks that are like, well, like I most of the time feel like I'm asexual, but there have been times where I've been in love with someone and felt romantic and sexual feelings for a person. So I guess I'm not asexual. And it's kind of like, for them, it's just like, yeah, all right, there's a sometimes. Cool. Which is why my Twitter bio says that I am an underrated demisexual, because it's not a particularly like well discussed thing. So yeah, happy to talk about it when brought up. And it's just like a lot of things in my life clicked into place when I first read about it. I should say I read about it instead of heard about it. When I first read about it, a lot of things in my life started to make more sense. Hey, Nathan Explosions here. What's up, Nathan? Happy to have you here. But yeah, hope that answers your question. Yeah, all right. We have finished the first part here. We can see these things are all going to pop open, and many missiles will come out of this. Look at all. Whoops. I don't have the backing part on that one, so that explains why that came off. But eventually, look at all this. This is all going to pop open, and then the sides are going to pop open too, and it's a whole explosion. Yes, indeed. It's a whole thing. We got a whole thing going here. These kind of don't love to pop open easily. There we go. Not like the other ones here. So yeah, you can see this thing's going to have a whole lot going on, and we got to keep working on them. So we're going to move on to the next section here, which is the next backing pieces, and we'll keep doing it. Okay. I occasionally get asked this question. It's been a while since I got asked it, so I will answer. Pat, why do you wear a bandana when you stream? And that's a totally fine question. And the answer is because it's to absorb sweat that would otherwise roll down my face and be very annoying, because I shave my head. Boop, shave my head. And I was very used to having hair, and then suddenly I didn't have hair, and then sweat would just run down my face while I was streaming, and then I was constantly doing that and trying to, dry my brow, and I was like, what if instead of that, and I live that life, I just instead get a bandana or something, especially because this was, when I shaved, it just started, it was a hot spring in New York, and so I was like walking around with like tissues constantly, like just like cleaning up my face. I was like, I gotta do something. So I wear the bandana, and it keeps sweat out of my face. I also like it. And maybe partially when I first shaved my head, I felt weird about it because I went from a full head of hair with a balding, to suddenly not having that. Um, and so maybe at first it was a little bit for fashion, but it's mostly to keep the sweat out of my eyes. And you know what? It works. It works pretty damn well. The sweat does not get in my eyes this way, so it is a success, which is nice. Because it can be a lot of yeah, I think it works. I think it works for me. I don't know. It is very funny though because there were I did have a friend who was like, or several friends that they would see me and suddenly be like, "Oh, I didn't know you shaved your head," and I was like, "You thought I just started wearing a bandana and didn't do anything else but just start wearing a bandana?" And they were like, "Yes," and I was like, "Oh, I mean, fair enough. Maybe I did just decide I'm always going to wear a bandana, and you just didn't realize that was because I also shaved my head." Like, fair. Nathan says, "I saw the picture of the model you're putting together. Now you got me looking up G Gundam kits." So I will say that for a wing kit, because this is a wing kit, it does have a bit of a G Gundam vibe to it, a little bit, but also, you know, sometimes you just want to look up G Gundam kits and enjoy that. But yeah, this is from Gundam Wing. I mean, it's from the manga based on Wing, because it's not in it. It's not a, you know, it's not the TV show model. It is you know, from the one of the manga. They have done. I don't remember if they did the beefy bonus Sandrock. Have they done a premium Bandai Sandrock? Does anyone know? Because I don't know if they have. I know they have done. They did, because I have built the extra cool Shenlong, because it has a sword and shield, and there's sword and shield connected, and that's cool. And we've built the Death Scythe, which has like basically the original wings, like not the Zero, the wings, and it's very cool. And we're now building this, and I don't remember if Sandrock had anything cool. It possibly does, but also I don't think I would spend a lot of money for a premium Sandrock. Nathan says, "Well, G is the only one I've seen, so that's my default." See, there you go. Yeah. So just the idea of a model kit in general got you thinking about getting a G Gundam kit. I will say, you can probably find some G Gundam kits for a reasonable price. It's hard. The master grades, weirdly enough, the master grades are probably the easiest thing to find. There have been, which actually would pull that back. You're going to spend money, but the God Gundam real grade, which I have behind me here, you can probably still find that fairly reasonably. The kits that came out in the old days when the show came out, those master grades are probably the easiest find. The Master Gundam, the Shining, and God Gundam, I think those are all of the ones that had master grades. And then there's the high grade 1/100 scales. Oh no, the Gundam Spiegel has a master grade, so you can find those. The 1/100 scale high grades sometimes are a little hard to find, especially at a reasonable price. Actually, if you want to build a G Gundam kit, the probably cheapest one to build is the not actually a G Gundam kit. Gundam Breaker Battlelog has the Burning Gundam, which is not it's not a quote unquote real Gundam. The Burning Gundam is like a modern but in the world of Breaker Battlelog, everyone makes their own Gunpla to battle with, and so someone made like a kit that didn't belong in G Gundam but looks like it does, and that's like not terribly difficult to find the Burning Gundam there, and it's got a cool neon foot because instead of the shining finger, it's got the shining foot, which is very silly in a way that I can get behind. All right, we are almost done building this, and then we'll be able to put it together here. We'll get the parts. We'll get the parts of this unit together, and then we'll assemble it all. And then we need W2, which is here. W2. All right. WA2, I should say. Yes. Yes, indeed. This is the Igel unit of the Heavyarms. So we are finally actually building the parts that we need for this. So I'm going to put this here. And then put this. Is this WA2? Is that the right thing? Did I pull the right part? Nope, this is WA4. This is not what I need. Yeah. Okay, great. This is part of another thing that I don't have to build right now. So I pulled this piece by mistake, so I'll put it over to the side. And I'll deal with that later. This is part of the leg. This is part of the leg supporter. So I just pulled the wrong part out. That happens to me on occasion. Get excited. This actually looks pretty good on the custom frameless walls. Yes. So I have that master grade. It's often on display. It's not currently on display. We are going to do that when this kit is fully assembled. I will take all of the new parts on here. The new segments, I should say. Oops, I gotta put this on. I put this on backwards. I will be taking the new segments that I have constructed here, the shoulder mounts and the new leg braces and the new leg sides, and I will be taking these and putting on that one to make the ultimate Heavyarms, because that has the 4 guns and it has the side skirt missiles and the front skirt missiles, and it has like it has the most possible. Well, what happens when I take this part and put it on there? Then it has the most possible, which sounds goofy in a way that I can really fucking get behind. But we will be putting that together here in just a moment. We need WB 7 and 8, so we'll do that in just a moment here. Take that out there, take that out there. There. And that goes there. Okay. But what's going to happen? Nathan says, I had a Master Grade of God and Master Gundam when the show first came out in the US, but I went through a phase in my 20s where I was embarrassed for my anime stuff, got rid of them. I hear you. I understand. Yes, the real grade God Gundam is over here, which is very good. Yeah, a new release of the G Gundam kits, like a new updated version of some of those Master Grades would be nice. I would love to build a better version. Like, those Master Grades have like screws that you need to assemble them, which is bad. It's like a bad era, that era. And like the rubber feet. I don't actually hate the rubber feet and the rubber hands. I don't hate them, but I also would love like a new interpretation of them. I think that would be neat. So we will finally put the parts on here that we need to assemble this together in a moment or two. But first, I'm going to drink a little water just right off the bat because I'm thirsty. All right. Now is the part of the stream. Some of y'all know what's coming. It's the pause for the cause. It is opportunity for me to talk to you all about ways you can support the channel, because I don't get to keep doing this stuff without your generosity, which I really appreciate. If you are currently a subscriber, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe, or the Tier 2 blue emote in the chat. Let the people know being a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do here, through cash money, through your Prime Gaming token, because we've had people use, we've had every way that people can subscribe tonight. We've had folks that use cash money, folks that use a Prime Gaming token, and gifted subs, because we had Aristofan gift a sub tonight. Those are the ways. Subscribing through Twitch is the easiest way to support what I do, and I very much appreciate it. So if you would like to become a subscriber, if you haven't been before, you can do that. What's up, Dirty? Happy to see you here in chat. You could gift a sub, as we said. Bits and coins also always appreciated if you want to cheer no one has cheered this month. It's okay that no one... It is okay that no one has cheered this month, but no one has cheered this month. And that is one way to support what I do. There are other ways. I'm going to quickly talk about all those things. Then we'll get into some anime talk, because there is a new show that I want to talk about, and then some episode 2s of some shows that I want to chat about. And I got 4 shows to talk about tonight, so we got to get to that. But the first thing I'll talk about is how I have a Patreon at patreon.com/PatBaer. There is a $1, a $3, a $5, and a $10 tier. And there are different rewards for the different tiers. Take a look at that if that's something you'd like to do. If you think Patreon is where you'd like to support me and get some rewards, that would be cool. I have a YouTube channel, which I post a new video every Wednesday and every other Monday. And then occasionally some bonus videos, but that's the current actual schedule. YouTube.com/PatBaer. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if you'd like to become a member there, you want to join up and become a member for just $2 a month. You become a member at YouTube, and you get my Wednesday videos on Tuesday. So you get those a day early. That's basically the only benefit right now. There might be in the future, but right now, not many people use YouTube as a way to support me, so I don't put a lot of effort into it outside of just it being a YouTube channel. And then there's direct donations, because those are monthly ways to support me. But if you'd like to help me out once in a while, you could make a donation through Coffee or PayPal or Stream Elements. Stream Elements, you can use a credit card through there, so that might be beneficial to someone. Everything I make through direct donations through YouTube, which also includes AdSense, so watching my videos helps there, through Patreon and through Twitch, goes into a fund, and I buy model kits with that fund. Now, this particular kit, I had a very large gift card to Amazon at Christmas, and people voted on what they wanted me to buy. And I said I would buy a very expensive model kit, which is this kit. Well, it was more expensive than the gift card, so your funds also helped with that. People that have given to me on a monthly basis, I did that. I have a backlog full of stuff that I'm happy to build in the future. If you would like to have me not build stuff from my backlog and instead build the thing you want me to build, the easiest way to do that is to buy something from my wish list. And then I have to build that before I build the other stuff that I have. I get to build the stuff you bought, I should say. I recently updated my Amazon wish list. There are inexpensive kits, expensive kits, kits that have free shipping. I put in some new stuff. The Gundam Virtue high grade that I don't think I've built a similar kit, but I've never built the exact Virtue chunk boy there. So I put that in. A variation of the Zigok E, which is another fun, weird kit. I just added that to the wish list. What else did I put in there? Some Lego stuff. Oh yeah, I just put in the gun tank early type, which is like from Origin. It is like the throwback gun tank design. That's expensive. Some of the kits in my wish list are pricey, and some are not at all. And there's some gear at the bottom if you just want to help me out and you don't know what kind of kit to buy, but you think a piece of gear would be helpful for me, and you'd be right. You can buy something there. I will shoot a dedicated mailbag video, I call them, about the kit that you have purchased, and then it will jump the queue and become the next thing that I build, because that's the least I could do. Alternative to that, you go to Throne. I don't have many kits on my Throne wish list, but it is an alternative to Amazon. A lot of gift cards there. You can help me out with that. Or you go to USA Gundam Store. You go to USA Gundam Store and buy a gift card. They have various gift cards there. And then you could send me a DM on Twitter or whisper here on Twitch with the gift card code, and I will buy something from USA Gundam Store. And it will probably be something from G-Witch, because I've only built the Ghouls de Lanza, and I have not built anything else. I have the Lith pre-ordered from USA Gundam Store. Whenever that becomes available, I will get that kit and build it. And before I build that kit, I will learn how to say it. I just say Lith because to me that is funny, but I will learn how to say the Lith or however it is pronounced, because I believe it's Gaelic. So I will learn that. Anyway, if you want to support me for a way that does not involve money, but you still want to show me some support, you could join my Discord. I post build photos at the end of every stream. We have talk about stuff that's coming up. People post things they think I would like in the Discord. Sometimes they post stuff that I have seen, and it's fine. And sometimes they post stuff that I have not seen, and it's cool. So the Discord is nice. You can join that. A couple of video links for you to check out. As I said, next Monday I will have a new episode of Pat Baer's Anime Club where I will do my top 10 list for the year. But the most recent video that is currently up on my YouTube for everyone to enjoy is the episode where I talk about the fall season and that just happened, and I preview the winter season, which has just started. We still haven't had every new episode of the season. By this weekend, we should get all of the new... Everything should have started by this weekend. But, like, there's still new stuff. Like, there was a new show on Tuesday. There'll be some stuff this weekend. I can't exactly remember what new things are coming this weekend, but they are. There's new stuff still happening, so we're talking about that. And then I have a new weekly series, a new Wednesday series called Baerly Rehearsed. As you may know, every year I start a new project, and I do 52 videos in that project every Wednesday of the year. This year, I am doing Baerly Rehearsed. Baerly Rehearsed is a video series where I have written a piece of material that I perform. It's a comedic monologue or a character piece, something like that. And I promise that I have done some rehearsing. It is not improvised. I've written it, and I might be off book, or I might be referencing my notes, and my eyes might dart to my iPad mini. But I think it's this episode, The Club, I think is pretty great. This is a piece that I wrote based on friends of mine and then myself being very excited about a movie trailer and being like, oh, shit, that's cool. Nicolas Cage is making good movies again. Fuck yeah. And that inspired this character piece. So I hope you enjoy that episode of Baerly Rehearsed. I'm very excited about having a year of writing and performing material. And I might even, at some point, have some other people write some stuff for me. We'll see. That's the goal, but it's still January, so I'm not ready to start asking people, hey, you got a character monologue lying around that you would like to see me perform? But there are a few friends of mine that I would love to reach out to soon to see if they'd be interested. But that is all the links. We're going to get into talking about some anime here in a second because there's new anime to chat about, and I got to chat about that new anime. So we'll get into that, but I do need to drink a little bit more water here, and we dramatically transition the overhead as we put some new parts onto an old parts, and I will dramatically transition and drink some water right now. All right, I have done my due diligence. We'll talk about some anime here as we put this parts together. Just programming note: you may have noticed that the anime that I'm talking about that aired today, yesterday, and Tuesday, Baerly is not on that list. Baerly season 2 has started. I have watched episode 1 of season 2 of Baerly. I have decided that that is a show that I'm watching on my own damn time. And I will talk about it at the end of the season. But, like, only so much happens at Baerly anyway. And it is pretty chill. And this episode was just like, a bunch of small things happened. And it was fine. Because, I mean, that show had a bit of an arc. But the arc was, and now new characters are being introduced. Oh, and this event is getting more dicey. And then, oh, and this event is now getting less dicey. And oh, now... Oh, okay, Maple found a new skill. Cool. So I'm like, well, I don't really have to talk about this show that much on a weekly basis, so I'm not. All right, we have now applied this piece here, and we can add in this, and we do it like that. And this is now officially more of the Igel unit, because now we have all of these cool launcher things on here, and this kit now is the manga version instead of just being the anime version. And then we can pretty easily, when we want, pop this off. We can pop this off and then we can separate these two pieces, and they will clamp on the other Master Grade, the Endless Waltz version, the Heavyarms custom from Endless Waltz. And that will easily be on there. But yeah, so now we can do this. This doesn't open anymore. We really can't do the back one here. So we have lost those missiles, but this still pops open, and then all of these pop open, and I will show you that now before we move on to doing the other arm, or the other shoulder, I should say. These all pop open, and then these are a little hard to pop open, so maybe actually we want to do the side ones first. I am just going to take this to see if I can use this to pop these open. Let's see, can I wish there was a little nubbin here that you could kind of press, but I guess if you do it like that. Let's see, will that work? Yeah, that works better. Okay. Just need a little bit of an extra helping hand here, and then these will open. All right, our first thing, it is a new series. I really enjoy this manga. I'm happy that it's got an anime adaptation so that we can talk about Campfire cooking in another world with my absurd skill. It's an isekai. There is some action, but it is mostly about cooking food with a guy from another world and the many cool animals that he hangs out with. The legendary, some not so legendary. We have not met the best character in the show yet. That character I believe we will meet next episode, which is fine because it's worth it. Okay, so we got our dude, Makoto. Makoto has been summoned to an alternate world with 3 other people to become heroes of the kingdom. It feels like he was not supposed to do that because he's got online grocery skill, which means he can spend money to summon food and online products from Japan. If you're like, I feel like that actually could be awesome, you're right, it could be awesome. But if you get like magic or swordsmanship and you're supposed to be a hero, that makes a lot of sense. If the skill that you receive is just like online shopping, that doesn't sound cool. And so people are just like, what the fuck? Also, you're like old? He's not. But you're like, what's going on? And so he's just like, he gets the vibe immediately. They're like, hey, this kingdom summoned some people. They don't actually seem cool. This seems like it might be bad news. So he kind of like negotiates his way out of having to like help them, because he's just like, oh, I mean, this is clearly a mistake. Like, you know, like this got fucked up. Like, how about I just like leave and like you don't have to worry about me and I won't get anybody's way, and maybe just like give me a little money to get by. And so he's just like out, and then he like finds out pretty recently. But he was just on the outskirts of the summoning circle. Yeah. Yeah, so he's just got like dirty. So yeah, on the one hand, he does, because he's just like a bystander, he doesn't have like the skills and it doesn't make any sense. But also on the other hand, we later learned that his ability is actually pretty fucking overpowered for real. You know, things are better than they would than they originally would have you believe when they make a certain realization about, or he makes a certain realization about his own skill. All right, I need 11 here. Gotta get F11. Starting with F11. So he finds out, yep, the Royals are tyrants, bad news, and he's like, okay, I gotta get out of here. He uses the money he has to hire a adventuring party to take him to a neighboring kingdom, because he's like, I think I got to get out of here, because eventually they might find out, like if I stick around here, they might find out that I'm like, they might want to use me or take advantage of me or whatever. Oops, I dropped the part that I'm going to have to go pick up in a minute, but I don't have to pick it up right now, so I don't want to. But I did knock over a sprue, so I will have to go get that. Yes, his power is a bit pretty much Amazon Prime. Or like a grocery store's website, like an online grocery store, a physical grocery store that has a strong online presence. They're still keeping up with, even if not a lot of people are ordering on, for delivery, they're still keeping up like that. Like that's true. Anyway, so along the way, he's like, okay, I've got these skills. I can order things. Oh, you know what I can buy? I can buy like camping gear. And so he gets like a camping stove, and they love his cooking, right? Because this is a trait that if you have watched any of these types of series, you know by now that characters like the isekai discover immediately, like, oh, the Japanese food rules, and Japanese food is prepared in a way that people really like. Like that's just like always a fucking thing in these kinds of shows, is that turns out they love Japanese cooking. Anyway, besides the fact that it's tasty and they like that it's tasty, they also discover pretty much right away, he discovers, oh hey, Japanese ingredients boost health and magic. They are power-ups. And he's like, ooh, I'm just going to use locally foraged ingredients right now for when I hand it to people, because I don't want people to know that I can make overpowered meals like this, because word will get around and someone's going to try to take advantage of me. And then they're moving around, and then he's kind of chatting with people, and then suddenly, like, everyone kind of gets freaked the fuck out because, oh boy, yo boy, a legendary wolf creature, the Fenrir, shows up. And the Fenrir is like, hey, human, give me some of that food. This is the best smelling food I've ever come across. What's up, human? Give me some of that. And he does. And then the Fenrir is like, you know what? Pretty fucking great. This is pretty awesome. I'm paraphrasing. Okay, here's the deal, right? Make a contract with me. I'll be your contracted animal and protect you and do all that. Feed me 3 meals a day. And like, our dude is not going to say no to that. He's not going to be like, actually, I don't think that's beneficial to me or whatever. So he's just like, yeah, sure, okay. And then he realizes that, shit, this thing's going to eat a lot of fucking food. So I'm going to have to start making some money. And that's where we end the episode. I'm excited for an upcoming character who is very fun and cute and has his own side series, split off manga that's very cute and adorable. So I'm looking forward to that character making an appearance. This is a slow series that I enjoy very much. The animal characters are fun. I will say our Fenrir friend is beautifully animated. Looked lovely, and everything looks good in it. Is it everyone's cup of tea? No. But I love like a slow chill story like this. I'm a big fan of that type of story, and that the characterization was fun. And yeah, I'm gonna keep watching it because, like I said, it is a series that I enjoy. All right, we're still working on our new shoulders here. I'm going to have to. I did drop one of the sprues, and I'm going to have to get that. I'm going to get out the parts that I need before I get that. Right now, I need F4 and E11. So let's get F4 out here and E11, and then I need A4, but A is on the floor. The second episode of the Magical Revolution of the Reincarnated Princess and the Genius Old Lady. I am now starting to wonder if the manga fucking downplayed how gay this show is, or if the anime is upplaying how gay this show is. But either way, I do know that this is a Yuri story, and I do know this is a Yuri isekai. But like immediately in episode 2, it's just like, oh, damn, all right, y'all like each other, huh? And that was like eventual, I think, like where I'm at in the manga. So I wonder if the manga was like toned down and the light novel is like super queer. Either way, anime is, which is great. But I was a bit surprised because I did not know that that was going to be the vibe immediately. All right, let me get this piece out here. I need to go to this screen because I have to get out of my chair and get this here. Oops, what do I need here? Okay. All right, got this. Got what I needed. Coming back now. You can probably hear me, just not super clear because I'm not right on the microphone. I have it set to be kind of on the microphone. All right, now I'm coming back, and I'm back. Hello. I got the sprue that I needed. Can't have any pieces on the floor before the cleaning begins. Well, definitely Lord Crashington, but I need this, so I had to pick it up. I think I saw a meme on Reddit talking about Magical Revolution and of the Reincarnated Princess and the Genius Young Lady. Saw a meme on Reddit that she's a Giga Chad for taking her brother's fiance, convincing her dad it's all good, and then getting her into bed all in the first 2 episodes. They do share a bed. That is not necessarily romantic. That is mostly just like trying to be... I will say this. We've got a main character here who is like reincarnated. We know that because it's the title of the show. But who is definitely like not a people person and like definitely does not know how to properly like help out. She does not know what quite to do to help out this girl. We should also say it is not a Chad move. It's not like she stole her brother's fiance. Rather, she rescued her brother's ex-fiance that was clearly about to have a mental breakdown because the idea that she was being dumped for some other girl was completely bizarre. And that is a running theme in this episode is nobody knows why the fuck this dude, the prince, who is now the crown prince, he's the younger brother, but he is going to be the crown prince because she wants nothing to do with the throne. Nobody quite knows why this guy, seemingly out of nowhere, ditched his fiance. Anyway, Anisphia, our princess, our reincarnated princess, we know she's reincarnated. And takes Euphilia to the king and the prime minister. So basically, the daughter of the prime minister has been engaged to the king's like son, the prince. And it's just like, that's a good thing that keeps the powers that keeps everybody together. Nobody expects Anisphia to like get married or do anything, so they don't have any expectations of her. And so everybody's just like, okay, yeah, we don't know what the fuck's going on here. And everyone's just like, he broke off the engagement in front of all these people without talking about it when he clearly isn't allowed to, like, that's the thing with these, like, banished or I'm the villainous kind of tales. One, we're very clear that Euphilia is not the villain. There is no villainess. And two, the prince just doesn't get to decide that shit. He just doesn't get to go, you know what? You've been mean to this girl. Get out of here. I'm not marrying you. Like, you don't get to say that shit. You don't have the ability to do that. What the fuck you talking about, man? Like, nah, you don't have freedom to marry who you love. Sorry, you don't. Anyway, so they're like, well, I don't know what we're going to do. And then Annie is just like, hey, I could use a research assistant. And rumors can die down. And it doesn't matter if if anyone's saying anything bad about me, because they always will anyway. It's just like, so it doesn't really matter. And, like, nobody's gonna be bothered by me having research interest. And then she's like, and we can split the profits. And then also, like, as I said, this show is gayer than the manga interpretation because it's also very clear that, like, oh, you have a crush on this girl, and you've had a crush on this girl. And a little bit of this, maybe not all of it, but a little bit of this is like, now's my time to shine. Maybe. Again, Grant is like, yeah, all right, that'll help. Sorry that we're doing this. And then Euphelia moves in and is kind of excited about the research because she does magic tools, because she can't do magic, but she can do, she does have clearly modern technology ideas because she is reincarnation, so she's got some skills. Clearly has some skills in that regard. So they're talking about all that stuff, and how it can help commoners, and how, like, oh, definitely nobles would hate this, but it's like, yeah, sure, but who cares? And then they end up sharing a bed. And then, yeah, Ophelia's just like, hey, I do have to ask, because you are weird. Why are you helping me? And then our princess is just like, you just looked so sad. And I just, because you may remember from episode 1 that she was not supposed to be at that party. She accidentally, literally crashed into that party because she's working on a magic broom. And immediately understood what was going on and was just like immediately reacted to like, oh shit, okay, well, we're out. And we'll learn more about that relationship soon, I'm sure. And she's like, yeah, just relax. It's going to be fine. But yeah, I like this one. I think this is an isekai that I think people could get on board with that say they don't like isekai. If you like some romance and some fantasy stuff, but you don't really like the came from a different world, overpowered main character kind of stuff, the modern isekai, and you want a more traditional isekai that has a female lead. But also, I will tell you from the reading of the manga, which again, I think this might be kind of splitting off from a bit, but from my time with the manga, our friend Euphelia has some genuine, honest, and real reactions to her life crumbling, and everything she knows, like, kind of like changing via her fiance, because now she's like, this is what I was my whole life. This is what I thought I would be doing, which would be eventually be the queen and support my husband, the future king. And that's not gonna happen now. And what does that mean for me? And what the fuck do I do? And it's a solid exploration of that over time. And then there's like shenanigans and some weird shit happening. And like, at one point, there's like a whole chapter of the manga, like a whole issue of the manga is dedicated to like talking about vampires in a scientific way. It doesn't go off the rails, but it is a weird chapter of the manga. But that is coming at some point. Like the werewolf thing, like, will probably get discussed in this season. And it is like, when it does happen, I'm just like, wait, what? Why are we talking about vampires now? Okay. So, it is a good show, and I am happy to be discussing it here. The ice guy and his cool female colleague, some progress happened in this episode, and that's how I usually talk about romantic comedy shows like here. We look at what I like to call with romantic comedies is this a romance show that has funny moments, or is it a capital C comedy show that has some romance in it? In my opinion, the ice guy and his cool female colleague is a romantic show that has some comedy in it. And Tomo-chan is a Girl is a comedy show about a little bit of romance, or the hopefulness of some romance. So these two shows are, I think, pretty complementary with one another. Ice Guy and his cool female colleague is also, they are adults. This is a workplace romantic comedy featuring 2 adults and not teens. Tomo-chan is a girl, is that. But some people apparently love the idea of adults in relationships and not having to watch teens fumble the ball constantly, which I can appreciate and understand, even if I don't always agree with that. Because I think sometimes it's totally cool to have the other. So Himuro. Himuro is a descendant of ice people. And I should mention that spirits are a thing that everybody fucking knows about. Everybody knows about spirits. It's okay. That is huge and awesome that everyone knows about it, and it's not a fucking big deal. So our main character doesn't have to hide the fact that he has ice powers. He just gets embarrassed by the fact that most of the time his ice powers are being activated because he can't control his emotions, and he now has a crush on his coworker, and so that makes things awkward. That's the awkwardness of this series, not the fact that he has special powers that he needs to hide, and that's awesome that we don't have to deal with being freaked out about special powers. So what happens in this episode? Okay, yeah, so he's afraid of going to... he's afraid of starting a snowstorm, and also... the little snowmen that pop out around him are so funny. Yes, Nathan, it is very funny. As I said, this is a romance show where funny things happen. So apparently he's like worried that like he'll ruin the trip. Also, we later learn he is worried that they're going to a place that is very hot and he will he cannot handle the heat. We later learn what happens in the heat, and I'll get to that. But anyway, he gets the recommendation of like, hey, if you're worried about that, you should do some training. And we'll like, here's like a surf drum, and you can practice like being at the beach. And he's like, okay, I think we can do it. But then he also almost causes a storm just because he's just like thinking about how cute Fuyutsuki is. And like, we've all been there. Where you're just like thinking about how someone you like is cute, and you're just like, oh no, now I'm causing a snowstorm. Anyway, and he's sightseeing with her, and he makes it snow. And then also, yeah, hot weather can literally melt him, and you're like, will it kill him? Well, we'll find out what the deal is with that soon. But like, it's not good. It's not a good thing because he shrinks when he melts, and then he looks younger than he is. He basically like de-ages temporarily. And he's fucking cute. He's just a cute little guy. He becomes a cute little guy. Our like cool guy becomes a cute guy, and it's fun. Anyway, she helps him out. And because like if he keeps melting, eventually he will be a baby. So she gets him ice cream so he cools down. And then and she like strokes his hair because like out of like instinct, because it's just like, oh, look at this cute little boy, I'll just stroke his hair lovingly. And then he instantly, because he cooled down, turns into adult again, and then they both like get flustered. And then Fuyutsuki is like, huh, I feel weird about that. Why do I feel weird about that? Odd that I liked what was happening here. Turns out later, we find out she took a photo of him when he was a kid. And she's going to keep it a secret because she thought it was cute. Now, it is fair if you hear that and you're like, hey, that's creepy. Because, like, yeah. But it's a romantic comedy, and, like, unfortunately, some big gestures in romantic comedies are creepy. It is not meant to be creepy. It's meant to be cute, and it is presented as being cute. It is not presented as her being, like, a creepo who is, like, needs to fucking calm down. This is the beginning of her possibly being interested in him in a romantic sense. And we like that, because these are fun characters. Now, do they need to be dating? I don't know. But at least one of them has a crush on the other. I liked it. It was fun. Good episode. Gonna keep watching it. Don't know what else to say about that other than, yeah. Pat Baer, into it. Turns out I'm into this romantic comedy show that I like. Tomo-chan is a girl. Okay, so there are 4 characters we kind of have to care about, and then we got introduced to a 5th character that we also need to care about. We're gonna work on the arm here. We finished the shoulder, and then we're gonna. We could just do the connector here. Yeah, before we finish the arm, let's do that connector. Because that would be fun to do. We need this. We'll just do the connector because we finished the shoulder, so we can just put the connector on there. Okay, so we got Tomo-chan. Tomo-chan and June, we'll go with June there, are childhood best friends. Tomo-chan has developed feelings for her best friend and would like to express those feelings. And in episode 1, she did literally confess to him, which is huge for, obviously Comedy of Errors coming, no problem. But it is big deal to have the show open with one of the main characters letting another main character know, hey, dude, I like you. I really think you're great. And then he is like, hell yeah, dude, best bros for life. Because even if he acknowledges, oh, Tomo-chan is a girl, he's still just like, Tomo-chan is my best bud. And like, I don't see her as like someone to like, that I would ever feel weird about or have like any issues with of a romantic nature. Couldn't be us. Which, is a bummer. Anyway, those are the 2 main characters in the show. Then there is Misuzu. Misuzu is like the friend that is going to give... She's the best friend. She's going to give advice. She understands what's going on. She is like knowledgeable about the world and going to offer people advice. But also, and important for this episode, very playful and apparently likes to see shit kind of go wrong. Not necessarily go wrong, but like she is totally cool with giving people the wrong idea and then seeing what happens. We also have, what is this fucking dude's name? They're new names. I gotta learn. Misaki. Misaki is the head of the judo club, which Tomo is a member of. Tomo has confided and asked for advice of Misaki. Misaki has a crush on Tomo-chan. This is the problem for Carol. Carol is the new character that we meet this episode. Carol is basically there. She is, because they are family friends or she is a distant relative. Anyway, there's an arranged marriage. She's supposed to be Misaki's fiance. And she also likes Misaki. Carol is English, and you can tell because she is blonde, and not a Yankee, not a tough girl. She's not that kind of blonde. She is, oh, you're a foreigner blonde. And so she, in the second half of the episode, because we'll just go because we're talking about Carol. She gets introduced and immediately decides Tomo-chan is the enemy because Misaki likes her. And what if she likes him because they're in the same club? And then everything's going to go bad. And then, like, Misaki's just like, okay, you want to know what's going on? Here's the deal. And again, playfulness. Just hang out with June. If you hang out with this anywhere near this dude, you will immediately know what you want to know. And then, like, so she's sticking close to him. And then Tomo sees June and Carol together. And then, like, immediately it's just like, are you dating a girl? What the fuck? And, like, immediately gets the wrong idea and goes to beat him up. And then Misaki's just like, oh, no. It's misunderstanding. Okay. We're not a rival. And then she's just like, actually, let's be friends. And now this apparently is the friend group. This looks to be the friend group. Now, that's the second half of the story. The first half of the story is the comedy, the capital C comedy elements, right? Why this is a comedy about characters maybe getting into a romance instead of a romantic show with some comedy in it. Also, some weirdness. They're riding the bus. This is Tomo and June, and like a fucking dude is like he starts, I don't know what to say. He starts groping her. Just fucking starts groping this teenage girl. And obviously that's fucked. And obviously a nightmare. Did I put this on wrong? Yes, I did. Okay. And she just decides, which like is kind of typical, unfortunately, out there, and understandable, but still bad. She's just gonna put up with it, and instead of making a fuss about it, and then June is just like, "What the fuck?" Like notices what's happening, immediately grabs the dude, and makes sure that he gets arrested, and like immediately is just like, "Nope, this is not happening while I'm here. No problem." And like so, we are to believe by watching this event, witnessing in this event, oh shit. He just recognized, like, this is my friend. She is a girl. This shit is happening. I have to intervene. So even though she's, like, embarrassed about what happened and, like, a little, probably freaked out about it, she's still like, oh, well, maybe this part of this bad situation that happened is good because he's going to notice what's going on with me. But instead, he's just like, I mean, you should probably just stop wearing skirts and then this wouldn't happen. Which is like, this dude is probably going to get beat up for misunderstandings quite a bit. And you might even have a moment where you're like, yeah, dude, I don't know, that's kind of weird. In this particular instance, well, if you don't want this shit to happen, don't wear a skirt, is definitely worth getting your fucking ass kicked. This is a deserved ass kicking right now because even you're a high school dude, but still, what the fuck, man? And now maybe he was just like trying to solve a problem and that was his solution and he wasn't thinking about her or the fact that like that's fucked. Like, no, she shouldn't have to change how she dresses. Dude, my dude, what the fuck? But anyway, later, Misuzu is like, well, you know, here's what you do. You should, yeah, you know, keep wearing skirts. In fact, don't wear shorts underneath it. And then the wind, because this is a comedy, a romantic comedy, the wind just magically starts blowing. And then the skirt flips up. And then June almost passes out because it's an anime. And that's the end of that episode, or that's the middle of the episode, and then all the Carol stuff happens. So that's a weird element there. I do like that she was just rightfully pissed off about it, and I think that's justified. Later, when she gets pissed off because he's hanging out with a girl, that's like that's a little weirder, but still like, but it's fun. I don't know if it's like, I don't think episode 2 was as good as episode 1, but I do like the show, and I am enjoying it. That's Tomo-chan as a girl. And I'll be watching more of it. This is going to do it for tonight's stream. We're going to wrap things up here a little early, just because I don't want to... We got to build the arm. We finished the shoulders, we built one arm, and we built all this new... We built some new stuff. We have the new parts, which you can see from the front shot here, and you can see here, all opened up, ready to blast them. I'm going to take 2 photos of this. I'll do that now. Take my photos. We are going to raid. That is how we end every stream. Eventually, in a minute here, I just got to get a photo of this. Like that. And then we close everything up here. Pop all these closed. Pop all these closed. Pop all these closed. Later, I'll be taking like side shots so you can see like the side stuff, because the legs also have side rockets. They'll need to all be closed up too, but we haven't gotten there yet. And then I will take a photo of it closed up like this. You can see all that. But yeah, my next stream will be on Saturday. As I said, I will be in the spare room here, the office. Instead of this setup, I will be back in this. Whoops. Sorry, I went to there by mistake. I will be back in this room that Monday. We are going to raid. That is how we end every stream. We're going to go find some cool people doing some cool shit and go hang out with them. So give me a second and we will go do that. Yeah, I got more streams. I hope you come and check those out because it's always nice. Today, not only did I record a video for Monday, I also recorded all the stuff for next Tuesday because we will be watching together and I'll be doing live commentary, some CPU versus CPU matches in WWE 2K22 the right way. The first two streams I did did the hard way, the way that I should not have done, that I did not understand was making my life very fucking difficult and was complete and total nonsense, and I shouldn't have done it. I have now learned the other way to do that, the better actual way to do that, and so we will go and show that. That's next Tuesday. And also, I can now do a variety of matches with some new characters, but new match types and new combinations of things because the world is my oyster now. Tonight's stream, we are going to go raid Sebmail. You may know Sebmail from his work. Oh, wait, we'll make sure. Is he streaming? Yes. He is still streaming. You may know him from the compilations he has made for Giant Bomb. He is doing a stream. He's doing a fundraising stream. He's raised a bunch of money where he is showing old tapes. He used to work at a local television station to him, and he has rescued a bunch of weird tapes. And this stream is him showing weird tapes and kind of talking over some of it and giving context. It's very fun. And we're going to go raid him. I think he hit his goal. He was doing a fundraising thing. But right now he's just paying off all of the tapes that he owes for the money he raised. So let's go hang out with him, watch some weird shit. Thanks so much for hanging out. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Please enjoy this stream. He's also a mod for Jeff. And I think it'll be fun. Thanks for hanging out. I hope to see you again on Saturday for more of the Heavy Arms. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.